Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM News, Entertainment, Education. We've got a very inspirational figure with us today. We have not just Atiya Jones, but now Dr. Atiya Jones. I don't want to hear myself on replay, but I hear myself on replay at the moment. That ensures that we're live. Anyway, so without further ado, I'd like to welcome to BWTM News and Entertainment, Dr. Atiya Jones.
Hey, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Congratulations, Doctor.
Thank you very much. I worked hard.
So, the last time we spoke, you were a life coach. You had talked about the publishing company, Atiya's Life Publishing.
Yes.
But now you are a doctor. Talk to us about that transition process from being just Atiya Jones to now Dr. Atiya Jones, and why you took that process.
Okay, that's a very good question. One of the reasons why I took the, well, first of all, many years ago, that was something that I wanted to do. And I had already begun a process of helping people, and I wanted to be able to help them significantly. And unfortunately, sometimes people, particularly in the field that I'm in with holistic life counseling, pastoral counseling, dealing with life transformation, people don't always necessarily take you seriously unless you have a credential. And so, although the gift is there and that I'm gifted to do what it is I do, I wanted to tap into a larger audience, a larger market, to be able to help more people. And sometimes people have the mindset that unless you have a credential behind you, that you are not necessarily the real thing. So I went after for my own self-development, went through a course of study, but also to add certain credentials to my repertoire so that I would be able to help on another level.
Okay.
So that was important for me.
Let's take you back before we get to the point of you now becoming doctor. And before we even get to the point, let's talk about your history, where you were at before. See,
Okay.
Yeah, so for people who are just tuning in now to watch.
Okay. Well, many years ago, I started doing life coaching and helping people with their marriage and relationships. I'm considered the marriage strategist, so I've helped people with marriage and relationships, help people to connect the dots. And
the website for that would be, very quickly,
www.themarriagetree.net. I've been ministering for over 20 years. I've been working with people in that capacity for over 20 years. So my background has been very extensive. The journey from becoming just Atiya to Dr. Atiya Jones, now the metaphysician, master Reiki practitioner and teacher, and yoga instructor and teacher, and now studying hypnotherapy. That process has taken many years in the making. And as I began to evolve and develop into a better version of myself and make my own life transformations, because we only get things in increments. You could be doing something and then the universe, or I call it the one or the source, will send you those messages that it's time to begin to evolve or make another life transformation. So we're talking over 20 years of transformations that takes place from me just being in one stage as an author, a writer, a minister, to now taking that next step to really help people in a more profound way.
Okay, so you're a doctor of metaphysics, correct?
Right now, I have an MSCD.
What does that mean?
An MSCD, which is a Doctor of Metaphysical Science. And what metaphysical science is, it's the study of not only the origin of things, but the study of that which is beyond the physical. And so it's a combination of the spiritual and the science, but it looks beyond what you can see. Like if I'm helping you to deal with some of the challenges that you're faced with in your life, yet a medical doctor or doctor of science would look at the physical symptoms and so forth that you have, and they will begin to treat those physical symptoms or the physical condition. With a metaphysician, they will look beyond the physical, because behind every physical reality is a spiritual reality. So they will look beyond that to look, what is it in the beyond the physical that could be the root of what it is physically that you're dealing with. Does that make sense?
I mean, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
basically, that's what a person in metaphysical science or a metaphysician does.
So what attracted you to that course or that direction?
I can't say that it attracted me. I was basically called in that direction. I've always been doing that. I am an intuit. And
What does that mean?
Some people call it psychic. I don't call it psychic, but I have a clairvoyance, which is called clairaudient, or being able to just know without someone externally telling you, or even hear. Like I know when we first met, one of the things that I've said to other people, one of the things is, okay, I need to repeat that because I'm hearing two messages right now. So I can not only hear what the person is saying to me, but I can also hear spirit, or I can hear entity, and I can see entity. And I think so as time in my life has gone on, and through the time, I've learned to better channel the gifts that I had. At first, I was very afraid of it because I didn't know, I didn't really understand it. And there was no one around me who could really explain what was happening to me or what this was. I knew it was a gift. I've always known it was a gift, but learning how to channel it now that I hope I'm answering your question.
Yeah.
But now, as I've gotten older, as time and experience has taken its course, so I wasn't attracted to metaphysics per se. I was called to it. It was basically what I was already doing, but now I know how to channel it and know how to better help myself and others with it.
So where did you go to study your course or your credentials?
Well, I actually several schools, but when I finally did my doctoral program, it was through the University of Sedona, which is in Sedona, Arizona. And I also got credentials through the University of Metaphysics as well. So those two places.
Now, because there are people that will say, okay, well, I know what a doctor is, he goes and he does this, he does that. Some of the people may say, New Age thinking will say, oh, it's not a real accreditation, it's not real.
That's a good question.
What is your response to critics that would say, well, you're not a real doctor?
Okay.
What's your response to that?
Well, first of all, I'm not looking for external validation. That's the first thing.
Okay, fantastic.
And I can really care less what anyone thinks is valid or not, because my work speaks for itself. However, to answer those who have questions in terms of what is the difference, my doctoral degree is a spiritual degree.
Right.
It is not an academic degree.
Right.
So one of the accrediting agencies that will accredit academic degrees, there is no such place that accredits spiritual degrees.
Right.
I've been a minister for over 20 years, so I don't need to go to receive an academic degree for what I do, because there is no such thing.
Right.
So naturally, my progression through my educational journey, and as I matriculate through higher education, mine would naturally be towards a spiritual sense. That is what I do.
Right.
So that is why I chose that that path. Now, I do have academic college in communications.
Yeah.
My background is mass communications and psychology, and also sociology. Actually with an emphasis in television broadcasting. So I do have the academic as well. I also trained with under Dr. Carl C. Bell, which is a internationally renowned psychiatrist and I also worked with the Community Mental Health Council for 3.5 years, almost 4 years. And I went through their clinical training program, which is 120 actual clocked hours of clinical training, and then also additional training on top of that. So to answer those people who would be critical of a metaphysic, or call it pseudoscience, or it's not a real. I mean, we all know what real is, and just because something doesn't fit into one box doesn't mean that it's real or it's valid.
Right.
And so I hope I answered your question.
Right, next, let's talk about the benefits of what you do and how the outcomes. People want to know, well, okay, if I invest in this, what's my outcome? What can I get out of this? What can I do to be, what can I do to, how does this work? How does this work for my life? If I go to a doctor, okay, I'm looking to be cured. However, the doctor still has not found a cure for the common cold. But you go to a doctor for the common cold to get cured. But we always do it, but yet we always take the medicine, but it always comes back. So we never cured of the cold, we always go back to it. Now for you, when I come to see you, if I come to see you, I say, like that, see doctor, what are the services you provide and how does that benefit the individual?
That's a very good question, Ingram. So I'll kind of answer it in parts, because the services that I provide are several different services.
Right.
If someone came to me, like you say, with a common cold, first of all, in our bodies, there are many energy centers. And I'll just say 7 now, although there are more than 7 major energy centers in your body, but there are 7 major that most people know about, which they know as the chakras or energy centers. And then your body has meridians. So first of all, in order for a body to be healthy and whole, all of your chakras have to be balanced. And if there is any imbalance in the system, it causes a strain on the other parts, the systems of the body. The same thing is physical. If your liver or your lungs or even your heart is not working effectively, okay, then ultimately, even though you're only having an issue with one of the organs or one of the systems in the body, eventually the other ones what happens is the other systems have to come in to compensate for that imbalance in one of the systems. And ultimately, the other systems are going to be affected as long as they have to keep standing in the gap to help that other system function. The same thing is in terms with what I do. If there is an imbalance in one of the energy centers, the other systems are affected by that, ultimately causing a domino effect of the other systems coming out of balance. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so what I would do is to find out what the actual challenges of a person's system is. That's okay. That's energy. What you're seeing happening right now is energy. There is an energetic pull right now in this direction, and that's okay. That's not a bad thing. That's not a frustrating thing. That's just the way things are. But when a person would come to me, I would find out what their issues are, okay? If they're having issues up in the top part of the area, then naturally they're having an issue with their third eye, their throat chakra, okay? And even sometimes their heart chakra, if it's a respiratory situation. So depending on what their issues are is what method I would use to help them. But also it's necessary to go through a historical or a history of their health and the issues that they faced historically, and even going all the way back sometimes to their childhood and their parents, you know, how they were conceived, and find out the dynamics of all of those things, because they have a bearing on that as well. But initially, to help them deal with the main thing, which they came in as a common cold, flu, or whatever, is you began to help them balance out the systems. I've also studied Ayurveda. So
What's Ayurveda?
okay, Ayurveda is that. Now that's a bigger thing to explain, and it'll take a long time. But Ayurveda deals with the doshas, or okay, you have like somebody might have. There's three main doshas: Pitta, Kapha, and oh gosh, Pitta, Kapha, and the other one. It's on the tip of my tongue. Before this interview, I'll put it out there. But anyway, in Ayurveda, it deals with body balances as well, and it's you can handle it through the dietary. The chakra systems are all involved in that as well. A lot of times it's an Eastern medicine that's practiced. So over in India and other cultures over in the East, Ayurveda is one of the main systems of medicine that is used. So they deal with the energy, the energetic aspect. They have two main headings or hands of Ayurveda medicine, which is physical or surgical. And mine is geared more towards the psychology, more towards the psychology, the mindset.
Right.
So, but I want to get back to your original question and not go off in Ayurveda, if that makes sense.
That's cool.
Okay. So you have to deal with those imbalances in the system, and in order to determine the root of those imbalances, you have to back into the history of the person. Because a person doesn't just get a cold. A lot of times people think, oh, I'm going to go outside and get a cold, but you're dealing with energy. All of it's energy. And this is where a lot of the imbalance come from. I don't know if anyone has ever noticed this, or even anyone in the room has ever noticed this, is you could have been completely healthy and you would have gone out, you've been around someone who has a very negative energy, and then all of a sudden you find yourself sneezing. You find yourself getting sick and sneezing. Well, the sneeze, most people say, oh, you're coming down with something. No, actually, you're not. You're getting rid of something. Your body is expelling the negative energy that just came in your atmosphere. So I work on an energetic level, and that's how it would help a person. Now, I may do it through Reiki. I may
talk a little, very quickly what Reiki is.
Okay. Reiki it's an energetic healing cross pathway where I would be the channel. I wouldn't be doing the healing. The healing comes from source, but I would allow myself to be a vessel for that healing energy from the universe to come through and channel to the person. And everyone benefits from Reiki, and probably everyone has experienced it on one level or another. Sometimes in the church they call it like hands-on,
laying
hands on, and it's a form of laying hands on. But you're consciously a channel when you practice Reiki. Okay, because we exchange energy all the time. If you're walking around outside, or if you're walking somewhere else and someone say, oh, hey mate, how you doing? You've just exchanged energy.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So Reiki is a way of intentionally transferring energy, or allowing source and being a conductor for energy to go through to heal different parts of the body. And because Reiki goes exactly where your body needs it.
Okay. I want to go across and talk about the thing you talk about, relationships as well. You talk about that. Talk very quickly to me about the marriage tree.
Okay. Well, the marriage tree, the whole purpose behind the marriage tree is to help men, women, and couples discover their own truth for a better marriage and relationship. So you don't have to be married to benefit from the marriage tree. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to be in a relationship to benefit from the marriage tree, because before you can have any relationship with anyone else, you have to have a good, healthy, and whole relationship with yourself. And that goes back to the imbalance that we were talking about as we were talking about metaphysics.
Yep.
You know, if your heart's not right? How can you connect your heart? That which is from the heart touches the heart. How can you effectively touch someone else's heart when your heart's not right? So within the marriage tree, we help people to connect the dots. We help them to discover their best self, their ultimate self, and get on the pathway to fulfilling their life destiny or their life purpose. And then I'm a twin flame person, so I don't just, when I work with people, I don't just work with them to find a mate or a partner. I work with them to connecting with their twin flame, which is happening on a higher level.
Twin flame? Explain.
Okay, that's a good question. Twin flame is your second self. It's the other part of who you are. All of us have one, but they may not be in the same dispensation of time. So a person's twin flame may not even be born yet, or a twin flame may still be in eternity while you're here and you're getting the lessons. But now in the season and time that we are in on the planet, more and more people are connecting to their twin flame because the earth is ascending. And so what's happening is with the twin flame, you grow simultaneously whether you're with that person or not. And it's a very challenging relationship to be in because both of you are born to do a higher purpose. It's not just about that relationship, but it's about doing something major on the planet together in relationship with one another.
I want to talk a bit about social media and Doctor, if I don't mind, if you don't mind me saying that, Doctor, I want to talk about social media and the power of social media in terms of energy and the energy that people give on their social media platforms like Facebook, and the sort of energy that comes off, whether it be positive or negative energy, and how that works. Like, you know, sometimes I go on people's pages and I'll go on one person's page and I'll feel really happy. And it's like, yeah. And then I'll go on another person's page and I'll feel fear and destruction and end of the world and why am I living life? And I can see two different types of energy right there. Talk me through that more and more, in your words, what that would be and how we can be more careful of stuff like that.
Well, if a person, I'm gonna say a couple things from a layperson. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
If you're not living in the light, you're living in the dark.
Right.
There is really no in between.
Okay.
And you're either talking about life, things that uplift and build the human spirit, or you're talking about things that is tearing the human spirit down, or talking about things of death. So sometimes you can go on, death is simultaneous to darkness. I mean, in the context that I'm using it as.
Yes.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so sometimes when you go on a person's page, the things that they're talking about may not be life-giving. They may not be uplifting. And so it can have, and including colors. Some people can have certain colors on their pages. They can have certain sounds on their pages. They can have things that are build you up. That all affects a person's energy. So you can almost tell if a person takes the time to listen to themselves, because all of us have the gift, but many of us don't tap into that gift. That's only the difference between me as a person who is clairvoyant or clairaudient or claircognizant. You know what I'm saying? The only difference between me and the other person is I'm tapping into my gift and the other person may not be. So if you go on a person's page and you all of a sudden feel that a drag, or you're feeling like your energy is beginning to drop, now it just means that you have tapped into something that you weren't consciously aware that you tapped into, that has had an impact in you. So unless you become awakened and aware and guard yourself a certain way and protect yourself a certain way, you'll be exposed to all kinds of stuff on social media, because there are some really dark pages and there's some really bright pages. And it has a major impact on how people behave, how they interact with one another. When they come off of social media, what they do in their household and their family, it has a major impact on them. And a lot of times, and it's a form of hypnosis, because hypnosis takes on many different forces, and the media hypnotizes people. You have different ways to hypnotize hypnotize people. And a lot of people are being hypnotized or lulled to sleep, is what I say, on social, through the media and different things, because they're not conscious or aware of what's happening. And it goes into their subconscious mind. And once it's in your subconscious mind, your subconscious mind doesn't lie. It believes everything is the truth. And so a lot of people, their subconscious mind is being programmed and they don't even realize it. And so then they come to someone like me or someone like Stuart or someone like some of the other people out there to now go through this transformation process to now reprogram their subconscious mind. But there are also people who self-hypnotize themselves with negative self-talk. I'm ugly, I'm fat. And they do it over negative thinking. They're self-hypnotizing themselves. So they're also programming their subconscious mind. So when they go out on social media and they see something, a picture that is like, oh, and then they start thinking on that picture, and then they keep thinking on it and keep talking about it, keep thinking on it. Right. That's what it's doing. So it can be very uplifting and it can be very destructive.
Okay. So to close, and I love this part, and then we ask, how do people contact you and get to know a bit more about what you do, and you know, where people can kind of find out more?
Well, right now, I want to talk about my books.
Okay.
Before we do that, I want to talk about I want to talk about my books.
Okay.
And I wanted to, it's on the tip of my tongue, I wanted to give the third dosha. Right. I wanted to give the third dosha because that's important.
Okay.
But I'll just have to come back and get it. And in all fairness, I've known about the doshas for a while, but I just finished the course. So it's not like I'm a master on it. I don't want you to think I'm a master on Ayurveda, but I did add the Ayurveda to my toolbox because it is something that is important for what I do. Okay. And it's a part of the energetic system. But I've written 9 books.
Yes.
And each of the books that I've written 2 children's books. And the whole idea behind the children's books is to help young people and adults alike to raise their EQ or their emotional quotient or their emotional intelligence. And the other 7 books that I've written are inspirational books or self-help books. And I really encourage them to get my books because a lot of times it's coaching within the context of a book. You can actually reach me through Atiya at themarriagetree.net or Atiya, actually Dr Atiya K. Jones at iamnetwork.org. Either one of those will get to me.
What about websites?
The websites, actually, you can go to atiya.info. That's ATIYA.info. You can also go to www.themarriagetree.net. And of course, you can get us through iamnetwork.org. But yeah, it's I know you wanted to interview me about the metaphysical aspect because I'm really, and kind of how, I just want to briefly, if you don't mind, talk about how everything fits together, if that's okay. Because I know some people who have watched my journey for the last several years, they have seen me as a marriage strategist and dealing with relationships, and I still do that. They've seen me as the author who has written these books and who have coached people and helped people in their life transformations. And yes, I do that. The part of me becoming doctor now and outwardly offering my metaphysical services has something that's been there all along in the context of my work. So I have worked with people and I have used my clairvoyant abilities in helping them. Does that make sense? But now I'm outward. I'm putting it on the table and I'm outwardly letting people know that this is a part of my gifting. This is one of the tools that I use to do the work to help you get to the point where you're trying to get to. And so the metaphysical aspect is drawing on all of those things that, not just, oh, I want to build a business, or I want to write a book, or I want to know what my life purpose is, but really go really deeper than that, so that you can not only do that, but really become your ultimate, your best self, so that you can be a consequential force in the world and really make a difference. Because the season and time that we're living in, it's so much appearance of chaos going on, but it's really just a matter of you making a decision that I'm going to move myself to the light and not stay in the dark. So all the things that you might see Trump doing, or all the things that you may see happening in France or the UK, or wherever you may see these things happening, it's a choice that you, on how you choose to live your life. Because the greatest power that there is love and light, and the greatest power lies within you. And so I know I'm closing out what I'm saying, but I wanted to give that. I feel compelled to give that because I find that so many people are anxious right now. So many people are like, oh gosh, it's doom and gloom. And it's not. It's not. It's just a matter of you making the decision that I am coming out of darkness and I'm going to stand in the light, and I'm going to live my purpose here on earth, and I am going to be the change that I choose to see in the world. So that's all I wanted to say.
I was about to say, in closing, which I think you've closed, but have you got any final words to people that are listening?
I think that was it. Yes, I do have some final words. You got me on a good day. You got me on a really good day. I do have some final words. I am going to ask everyone who's listening to this live interview or message is not to be afraid to live in your authentic truth, and not to render yourself powerless. A lot of times we want to blame other people and other things for the condition or circumstances in our life, but the minute you do that, what happens is you give your power away. If you take responsibility for every single thing in your life, that means that you also become the solution to the problem. Because if you say, I take responsibility for this, that means that you give yourself the power to change your condition or your circumstances. So the words I would want to leave with the people who are listening is, don't be afraid to take responsibility and to take that take it. Because then once you take it, that means you have the power to change it. And we all, and there's so much power within you. It's, you are the key. You are the solution. So that's what I'm going to say.
Dr. Atiya Jones, thank you so much for being on BWTM News.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
This has been BWTM News and Entertainment. I'm Ingrid Jones. This has been Dr. Atiya Jones. Thanks for watching. Take care.